All right, Nick. It's not Mr. Irrelevant, but it was pretty dang close with the seventh round selection number 251. The Kansas City Chiefs selected Isiah Pacheco. That's pretty dang near close to the last pick in the draft. And the fact that the Chiefs have selected this running back brought him into the fold, and he even has a chance to contribute has been incredible. But not only does he have a chance, he's been pretty impressive in preseason. And the buzz around him is that he could get a ton of starting reps as well. He's not going to be necessarily the number one guy starting day one, but he's going to be a big time contributor on this offense. And to get a guy that late in the draft is seriously, seriously impressive. And you have a really great story on Pacheco. And a young rookie contributing, always exciting. So that's why we want to know, Chiefs fans, in the comments below, let us know. You've got a lot of great additions. There's a lot of new shakeup on this Chiefs team. Whether it's a rookie that you drafted, a free agent signing, a trade, whatever the case may be, let us know who is the new Chief on the Kansas City Chiefs that you're most excited about watching this season. Let us know in the comments below. But Nick, what do you have on Pacheco?
So this is according to sportscasting.com. In a Kansas City Chiefs training camp with Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Juju Smith-Schuster, and 2 first-round picks, Trent McDuffie and George Karlaftis, the most buzzed about player isn't any of them. It is 7th-round running back Isiah Pacheco. Pacheco from Rutgers really jumped out early in the training camp. He showed up in the Chiefs training camp with little to no expectations. In fact, with Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Jerick McKinnon, Ronald Jones, and Derek Gore ahead of him on the depth chart, the chances of him making the team were slim. However, Pacheco impressed from the jump with his running, catching, and kick returning. He's been lights out in practice and has 16 carries for 66 yards and 3 catches for 21 yards in 3 preseason games. Those numbers don't jump off the page, but that is because Andy Reid is actually using Pacheco in the preseason like a back who's going to play a lot in the regular season. Pacheco beat out Gore, who the Chiefs cut after suffering a thumb injury, and now Jones is on the roster chopping block. It looks like Pacheco will also seriously challenge Edwards-Helaire McKinnon when the regular season arrives. All right, Mai. So obviously this is a big surprise. You've got a veteran team in the Kansas City Chiefs. They got a lot of depth at a lot of positions, rely on guys, whether it's Jones, McKinnon, Derek Gore, whoever, to really man that running back position. What do you think of Pacheco coming in right away and pushing some of these guys off the roster and really fighting them for playing time?
Yeah, no, it's been seriously impressive. And to find or to do the diligence that you needed to do on a guy like Pacheco early on, you look at him and he's got some pretty good measurables. He runs like a 4.37 in the 40, 5'10, 216. So a pretty stout guy, big guy. But in college, his numbers aren't necessarily incredible. Like the last year he was over at Rutgers, he rushed for, a meager like 650 yards, 3.9 yards a carry, 5 touchdowns. So he's not blowing you out of the water. He's not leading any rushing records or anything like that. But to find this guy in the 7th round, to bring him onto this team, and then slowly see him progress more and more through preseason games and training camp, knocking out guys who before all of this, we were talking about, okay, the Chiefs new running backs they got on the roster, whether it was Gore or whether it's Jerick McKinnon or anyone like that, and this guy is slowly just kind of chugging his way along up the roster, up the depth chart, getting himself squarely into what I would say is right now he's in a battle for the number 2 running back position with potential by the time the season's over. I don't see why he couldn't be the number 1 back. Edwards-Helaire was decent. He's not incredible by any means. He hasn't really wowed you. He was no Christian McCaffrey, Saquon Barkley, Zeke Elliott type of running back. So I think Pacheco has potential here to be a really big contributor for this Chiefs offense, and I love that.
Well, when you look at what Pacheco brings, like every report on him, everything from Chiefs camp is that this guy runs hard, high energy, very physical, aggressive runner. That's kind of his MO. And when you look back late in the season last year with the Chiefs, a lot of their problems offensively can be traced back in key situations, not being able to get some tough physical yards in the running game. if you go back to the end of regulation, the AFC Championship game against the Bengals, right? It was they're down, I think, 24-21. They're in a position to win the game now and go to the Super Bowl. They have first and goal at the 5-yard line, I believe. They run the ball. Jerick McKinnon's in the game. They run the ball with McKinnon. He really can't just lower his head and get any additional yards. He gets a yard. The Chiefs then have to throw the football twice. Mahomes gets sacked twice and then has to go to overtime, and we all know what happens there. If you have a physical, aggressive runner, with a nose for the end zone, with high energy, push the pile, that kind of effect, that can be a guy that turns that 1-yard run and that second and goal from the 4 to second and goal from the 2, second goal from the 1, where it's a lot easier to either run the football in again or play action and get something, much more successful than a standard pass in that situation. So that's what Pacheco can bring to this offense. And I think the fact that he's coming in and beating out Gore, pushing Jones out, really shows that Andy Reid and the entire Chiefs coaching staff is saying, hey, this guy can fill this role right away for us. But think about another role that he comes in. He's had a strong kick returning preseason and training camp as well. And remember, Brian Pringle is gone. He's now with the Bears. And Pringle was actually a very solid kick returner for the Chiefs last year. He was actually above average in terms of rankings per return as a kick returner. So getting a guy who would come in and fill and replace him right away too, that's sort of an extra bonus that he can bring to this Chiefs roster.
All right, Nick, it's time to get your internet privacy back today on every device you own in any country you want. Don't let anyone but you control your internet. NordVPN keeps you safe from prying eyes wherever you go online with their military-grade encryption. Is your favorite Netflix or streaming content blocked in the US? You can simply connect to one of the many countries available with NordVPN and get the access you need.
That's right, Maya. So right now, get our exclusive NordVPN deal here at nordvpn.com/SMI. It's risk-free now with NordVPN's 30-day money-back guarantee. Again, get that exclusive deal, nordvpn.com/SMI.